Good afternoon, dear Stitchers. It's Judy with JBW Designs, and I want to welcome you back to my Flosstube channel. It is January 9th, 2026, and I don't know about you, but I always have trouble moving on to the next year, writing it down in a checkbook or just thinking about what the actual date is. So thank you again for coming back. I have so much to tell you about today. I have piles of things everywhere, and so I want you to settle in, and hopefully you'll have some stitching and a nice hot cup of tea or a drink, whatever suits your fancy. Let's see, what do I want to tell you about first? Well, things have been busy. It's been, I would say, almost a month since I recorded a video, and as you can understand, the holidays were a bit crazy, lots of activities going on, and then somehow here we are almost in a third of the way through January, and things are still seem to be hectic, but that's just the way life is these days. Today, well, let me go back a bit. So in my last video I celebrated my 100th video. This is 101. And today I am going, and I got so many nice notes from you. Thank you so much for all your well wishes and congratulations. Today we're celebrating another milestone. I finally reached 7,000 subscribers, which kind of is just surprising to me, really. But I think that I need to celebrate that milestone too, because it's taken quite a while, and I'm proud of the fact that I've gotten this far, and it's all due to all of you who take the time to watch and write and do such wonderful things as Stitchers always do. So stay tuned. I have the announcement of who won the prizes in the last video, and then guess what? There are more today. So thank you so much for joining me. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about the kindness of Stitchers. So in my last video, I think I showed in one of what I always show viewers finishes, and I showed a design called the Great Pumpkin Alphabet that had been out of print for years. And I tried to I do reprint some things that are continue to sell well. But this one was so expensive to print because the chart was so long. So I just said, oh, I've got somebody looking for it. Well, guess what? This wonderful gal named Ellen wrote to me a day or so later, and she said, I'd be glad to help. And so she sent me the chart, and I sent it off to the person who was looking for it. It was kind of like looking for a needle in a haystack, because I don't even have a copy of it. And of course this gal was just so pleased. So it's last year my theme was kindness, and this was definitely an act of kindness. You just pay it forward. Somebody helps you, and then you go on and pay it forward. So I'm going to start out, I have several themes today as usual. I'm going to start out with viewer finishes, and I have all kinds of pictures to show you. And then I'm going to talk about blessing samplers, because a lot of people are doing those, and I'll kind of explain what that is in case you haven't heard about them. And then because it's winter, I am going to show you some of my wintry designs. And then I have another surprise design to show you. I am so excited about this. I'll give you a little hint. So it's a new design for Nashville, and it is going to be sold by my distributors. And so I wrote to them today, because they've been advertising it, to say, is it okay if I post pictures on my social media accounts about this design? And they said yes. And I thought, yay, now I get to share it with you months before Nashville. So that's very exciting. So the first, let's see, I have to get this organized here because I have two piles. So the first design that came in was from Jennifer, and she had stitched the When Cardinals, no, yes, sometimes I forget what I'm looking at. When Cardinals Appear, and this was her stitching. She was so excited about finishing, and she did just a beautiful job. And we've seen this before, but a lot of people really like this design because they do it in remembrance of someone in their family. So the wording on this design reads, "When cardinals appear, loved ones are near." And as I've told you before, I always am delighted when I see a cardinal land on our bird feeder, and then I start to wonder who's visiting. So it's very special. All right, I had these all in order. All right, the next one, I just love these finishes. This is from Marcia. She actually sent several things to me. And this is a little tree, and it's from a series of trees that I have that are called the Christmas Tree Collection. And I meant to look to see how far these go. I think there are at least 12 of these. I'll have to go back and look. A lot of these have been incorporated into my ornament collection booklets, but she happened to use the Christmas Tree Collection 1, which is still available, and she used it, she stitched it, as you can see, several times, and she mounted them in these darling little pre-made ornaments that people have been buying at Michael's. So next year, think about that, October, November, when they get their Christmas things out. These little frames are so easy for finishing. So I loved what she did with that. The next finish came from, let's see here, Marcia also did this one. So she did the Stitcher's Stocking. Now I know we're way past Christmas, so that probably isn't your cup of tea right now, but I just like to share what people have been working on. And this is what the booklet looks like. It's just full of all kinds of little stitching motifs. So thank you, Marcia, for sending those. And then this one, I had to think for a while about where this design came from. But the finish on it is so unique. So let me show this up close. This is from Faye, and I don't know where she got this beautiful candlestick. It's just gorgeous. But you can see that she mounted one of my little round designs right in the center, and I thought it fit perfectly. And she did it in a little tiny wooden hoop with a bow on the top. And so I did go back and I found the booklet that design came in. That design was never published as a single design in a single booklet, but it is part of Christmas Ornament 5 booklet, and if you can see, it's right there. So it's just a little Christmas in the round, a tiny, tiny one, but I love the way that turned out, so thank you, Marcia. Then we had another one. This is so small. You're going to have to squint at the screen, but I have this model. Aha. I was going to show it later, but I might as well show it now. So this was kind of fun. So one of my shop owners, Shelley, who owns Just Stitching in Ohio, posted a darling picture of a display that she had made of all snowman designs. And it's as I say, it's very hard to see. It's right here. Let's see how she finished it. Looks like she finished it as a flat finish or an easel. It's kind of hidden there. But here we go. This is what the model looks like in person. And of course you could do it in red, blue, whatever color is your favorite. I just finished it as an ornament. It was originally in another booklet, which I'll show you in a little while. And this design, let's see if I've grabbed the right one. Yes, okay. Is in Christmas Ornament Booklet 3. And you can see it right down here in the corner. And it's been worked in red. So thank you, Shelley, for posting that. That was fun to see. I actually got a couple of snowman displays, not only off of Facebook, but off of Instagram, that were just adorable. In tiered trays with little snowman ornaments, and then all kinds of snowman and related designs for winter. It was so cute. This was, let's see here, I've got to get it upright. This is Scandinavian Christmas, and this was finished by, or stitched by Cindy Stitches. If you don't follow her on Instagram, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Her displays in her home of all the things that she has stitched for Christmas is absolutely stunning, just amazing. So, all right, do I have this right? Let me keep looking at my notes here. Okay. All right, so I have two people to talk about. One is Cindy Stitches, and then the next one also has a beautiful Instagram account. So this is Scandinavian Stitches. Mine is kind of a maroon color, but she stitched it in a really, really true red, and I loved the way that looked. So thank you, Cindy, for sending that. The next one that I want to show you is from Caroling55, and she is another one that has, she has a banister in her house that comes down the stairway. I think I have this correct. And there are ornaments just all down the boughs of the banner. Trees, her displays are fabulous. So what she did is, this is the tiered tray I was talking about. There is my French country snowflake, worked on a blue fabric. I just thought it was striking. And you can see she's got all her little other winter designs tucked in there. I thought that was so cute. And this is what that pattern looks like. And I have models to show you in a little while. I pulled those out this morning. It's taken me a long time to set up for today. I knew I wanted to record this week, but I don't know, I was running out of time, so it took me all morning to set everything up, and hopefully I can get through this smoothly without any hiccups. So the next design that I want to show you is a new person on Instagram that I've started following, and it's called Victoria Stitching. And I haven't figured out, Victoria, if you watch, let me know where you're from, because I think she's from someplace in Europe, because sometimes she'll post the most beautiful pictures. So this is Nordic Reindeer. Thank you, Victoria. She stitched it in red. I thought it was striking. I love red on white. And this is what the Nordic Reindeer booklet looks like. So I'm sorry there are so many Christmas ones. It's just what happened, right? Let's see. The next one was done by Phyllis. And the unique thing about this little design is she found a little tin, a tiny little square tin, and look what she did. So this design actually, I think, is in several booklets. It's in the Christmas Village one. You can see that there, along with a barn and a little Christmas house. But she finished it putting like tiny little, almost like the feeling of snow down there. It might be like polyfill that she broke into little pieces, and then she tied ribbon around the edge and a ribbon at the top. Thank you, Phyllis. I thought that was just adorable. So again, that little church is from Christmas Village 1. All right, then a friend of mine, Karen, went down to Cincinnati, Ohio in December and visited the Keepsake store. And Karen does some beautiful finishing for me. And so it was so much fun because while she was there, she photographed a couple of my models that are on display in the shop. And even though I've been to the shop, I did not realize that these models were there. So I'm going to show you this in two parts here. This is from the Twas the Night series. And it looks like it's displayed, I'm trying to figure out, it looks like it's kind of a wooden, almost like not an easel, but I love how they did it because they've hung, I'll show you the rest of it. There are 12 designs in this series, 3 in each book, 4 books, but they just hung them over the little hooks at the top. So I thought that display was very cute. And here are the other 6 from that set of booklets. And you've seen this before, but sometimes I get new people who've never seen my videos. The other day I was talking to somebody, I had sent a trunk show to her, and she said, I have people who've never heard of you. And I thought, well, that's kind of sad because I've been around for so long, but it's okay. We have new stitchers, and maybe they're just finding out that there are other designers out there who they've never met before. So here is the first booklet in the Twas the Night series. And then the last one I have to show you today, I love this finish. I don't know where they got the yellow, kind of mustard yellow mounting plate, but this is Bees in the Round. And they've got it on a little easel. I loved the finish of that one. And this is what Bees in a Round looks like. I finished it, actually my finisher finished it in a little metal tin. She also finished it just as a round with ribbon and pins around the edges. So those are our viewers' finishes for this week. Now let's set that aside and keep moving. All right, now the next thing, am I talking too fast? I feel like I might be. I'm so excited to see you. Maybe that's the reason. So my next topic today is blessing samplers. And a lot of people are doing them. I don't know, many of you I'm sure have heard of them, but I looked online to get a description of what a blessing sampler is. I was going to try to describe it to you, but this is a better description. A blessing sampler is a needlework project, typically cross-stitch, that stitchers start and aim to complete in January as a tradition to bring blessings, good luck, or a fruitful year to their household or themselves following a French custom. Now, I knew that it was to bring joy and good luck to you, but I did not realize that it was a French custom, so I thought that was so interesting. So I have not chosen my blessing sampler yet, and it's getting a little late. I do usually do one every January, and it doesn't have to be a sampler. It can be anything. So maybe there's something that I will show you today, even if it's just something small that you'll say, oh, I could get that done, or wouldn't that be fun to do? So I pulled out, let me move things over here. As I say, I have so many things to share with you today. Okay, so I just pulled out 5 designs that were in my collection that I thought, this might be of interest. For some reason, when I think of a blessing sampler, I always think of red and white, and I'm not sure why that is, because any design could be a blessing sampler. It doesn't have to be, an alphabet. So I pulled out 4 or 5 from my collection, and the first ones I'm going to show you are very, very tiny samplers that are very easy to do because they're so small. This one is one of my favorites. This is based on an antique. The unique thing about this is it's done in beautiful pastel colors. It was not, I started to say it was not signed, but actually it does say GP here right between the crowns, so you could put your initials, and you could put a date down here at the bottom. But aren't the colors, I matched the colors to the original. I just thought it was such a precious sampler. And the second one I'm going to show you, both of these are in the same booklet, is this little one. I always call, it's Ada Roper, 1894. Sorry about the glare, I've got my light on in here. And I love this because, again, it's small. It's just the alphabet and her name. You could add your name and the date at the bottom. And this used to be, originally I had it as a kit, and it was mounted on a little wooden horn book. I'm sorry to say all those kits are long gone, but the design is still available, just as that pastel one is. In this collection, let me open this because there's quite a bit of glare on here. it's packed very well in this bag. Sorry about the crinkles. All right, this is what the booklet looks like. So it's a collection of 5 small samplers, and all of these I purchased. This one I purchased from the Glee Kruger collection, which really meant a lot to me because she was a very famous sampler author. I'm not sure. This one I remember finding at an antique show near us that occurs in the summertime, and it's by Emma, and it's 1880. Here's the Ada Roper sampler. Here's the small little pastel sampler, and this is another sampler that I purchased, and I've forgotten, Eve Wolf. And it too used very soft pastel colors, but they're all small, they're all doable, and I thought, that might be a good idea for my viewers. All right, the next samplers I'm going to show you, and sometimes some of the things that I show to you are quite old. What I mean is I designed them a long time ago, but I'm finding out from the people who watch, actually, you don't care when the design was published. If it's something that you love, then you feel like, oh, I really want to stitch that. And this was, let's see, it was published in 2012, so it's 14 years old. It's the Rose Motif sampler. It's continued to be very popular, so I continue to reprint it. It's just a series of borders with roses, a pretty alphabet font, and I've always liked the way that it looked. So I finished it actually as a pillow. And again, I've seen this worked in many, many different colors. I believe, I'm trying to think of, there's a gal on Instagram, Christina, who does she has the most beautiful posts, and she does everything in blue, and I think she's done this one in a pale blue. This I just finished with toweling, antique toweling, and a few buttons along each side. But as I say, that would be a fun blessing sampler to do. The next one I'm going to show you that also is fairly old is called Birds and Berries. And again, I've seen this stitched in, other colors, whatever is your favorite. Let's see, this was published in 2011. It is still in print. And again, it's just an alphabet and a border and several motifs in the center. And this is what Birds and Berries looks like. So we'll set that aside. Let's see, I'm making very, very large piles here. All right, the next one that I'm going to show you is the word blessing. And I thought that was so appropriate for today because I titled my video today, Looking Forward and Feeling Blessed. And I know how lucky I am. My family lives in the area, so I get to see them. I have a lot of blessings in my life. I'm very, very grateful. But, sometimes this really means a lot to someone, and maybe that's something that would be appropriate to stitch for your blessing sampler. So it's just a beautiful, the word and the font. I love the lettering on this, and then just a few floral borders at the top. And I have stitched this. This is done over 2. Let's look at the booklet. This is done over 2 on a 32 count fabric. So I'll show you that model. And then, how much I love to do an over 1. I did the over 1 on a 28 count fabric. And I really should keep this out. I should just hang it on one of the little knobs on my desk here, because it's very, very sweet. And then the last sampler that I pulled out today as a possible blessing sampler is called the Elegant Alphabet. And let's see, what did I do? All right, here it is. So sometimes you don't always want to do the whole design. So this is what this design looks like. It's not that old. Let me look at the booklet. This was published, just 4 years ago. And I just loved finding all these antique borders, antique motifs, etc., and of course using an alphabet in this. But you don't have to stitch the whole design. And I have two tiny little models here to show you that I pulled out certain elements in this design and decided to just use them as almost like sewing accessories. So I pulled out this little bird right here with the envelope in his beak, and then I also pulled out this little bird on the branch down here. I think the two swans would be just lovely. I could see that as an anniversary sampler or some kind of a Valentine's Day gift. So anyhow, that's my last possible suggestion for today, and maybe you'll send me ideas of what you're working on for your blessing sampler. So let me show you those two tiny little ones that I pulled out of that design. So here is the little dove with the envelope. Looks very Valentine-ish to me. And then, I just finished it as a tiny little pillow with cording around the edge. And I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny little button down at the base. And then the other model that I did using one of the designs in that pattern, I just did a little scissor fob and finished it with a two-tone twisted cording. So you can see that it has some length to it to make it a scissor fob. And then I just chose a pretty French General fabric for the back of it. So hopefully that inspired you a little bit. If not, we'll just keep moving along, right? All right, I think I'm going to take a little break from showing you designs. And let me see here. I think it's time to announce the people, my viewers who watch, who made comments, and who I gave 10 different, I was giving away 10 different prizes last time I did a video. And I numbered them all, and I used the random number generator, and I was able to figure out who is getting each prize. So these are not in the original order, but that's okay. You don't really care what order I do them in. So this one, let's see, actually this was a set. So let me show you the set. So the prize number 10 was the Petite Christmas cottages and the little wooden tags to mount them on. And this was won by Sew, S-E-W, Cute by C. Now, the best way to reach me is really through my email. Lots of times I don't see my messages, so I'm going to encourage you to email me saying I won number 10. I still have them all numbered in the order that I had described them last time, and give me your address, and I'd be happy to ship those to you as soon as possible. All right, let's see. No, these are not in order. All right, number 9 is Lena's, here, I'll pull this off here, Lena's Pin Keep Kit. And this was a kit that was offered, I think 2 or 3 years ago. It's beautiful. It has the velvets and all the trims. This was won by Sheila so when she assigns her message to me, it's Sheila by RD88. So Sheila, if you'd write to me with your address, you have won that. Congratulations. Let's see, as I say, these are in terrible order. All right, I can do this. I want to get them in some kind of order, otherwise I'll get all mixed up myself. So this is prize number 8. It's the Antique Vase Sampler. And this was won by Phyllis Haws, H-A-W-S. I think I pronounced that correctly. And there is a gal on Facebook who is working this now on a dark linen fabric. It's stunning. It's so pretty. Her name is Angelique, I think Massey, M-A-S-S-E-Y, and she posts progress on it every few days. So I'll have to print that out. So that is prize number 8. All right, number 7 was the Advent calendar. And this is, as I say, you could work it separately and just hang the little ornaments on a tree. You can finish them as pillows. There are all kinds of ideas for this. And this was one by Kathy Cullens, Cullens. So Kathy is going to write to me. Number 6 is this right here. All right. So I've got to keep all my notes to myself, so I send the right things to the right people. So let's see. Number 6 was the Sing a Song of Christmas stocking booklet, and this was one by Kathy, Kathy Mellor, Mellor, and that is not only the book, but the charms that go with the stockings. Okay, number 4 is, let's see, song number 4. Trying to figure out if I have the right one here. Sometimes I can't read my own notes. Isn't that frightening? All right. I'm sorry. Here is number 5. I've gotten off track already, right? I'm sure you're shouting in the background. Judy, you're on number 5. All right. So number 5 was Christmas in the Round. I hope you're getting a chuckle out of this. This was one by Sherry, Shari Hansen. And it was not only the design, but the little scallop disc that it can fit on. All right, now we go to number 4, and number 4 is the Ode to Red kit, which is a darling little design that has all the things in it to complete the kit, and this was one by Lori Turner. So Lori, be sure to write to me. Number 3 was one by Susan Barnes, and these are the beautiful pins from the Jersey Girl Stitch Company. Teresa and Anna just create the most gorgeous pins that you can use in your pillows or your drums, etc. And so Susan, just be sure to send me an email. Number 2 was the 12 Days of Christmas, and let's see, am I missing? I don't have them in the right order, but that's okay. I will make sure it's right when I send it to you. The winner of the 4 12 Days of Christmas booklets is Janella, Jan, I have to look at this closely, ELA, Wrench, WRENCH. So Janella, you'll be receiving all 4 of those books. I'm going to set them aside so I make sure I put the right ones out. And then the last winner is Judy. Let me see if I can read my writing. I'm going to have to spell her last name. Duelo, Duelo. And she won the Christmas Collection Ornament 6 booklet. So congratulations to everyone. I'm so excited that we have all these winners, and people really seem to be excited. I'm going to put these back in my little tray here. Seem to be excited about winning prizes, and it was fun to give them away. And as I say, I'm going to be celebrating a little bit more today, my other milestone. All right, my next topic is my winter designs. So I pulled out, let me take just a minute here to rearrange. I try to get things within arm's reach, but sometimes it takes a while I have to kind of move things to get to the next spot, right? So the next set of designs are all winter, and it was kind of fun to look through my models to say, oh, I'm sure the gals would love to see this. I don't actually have a lot of winter designs, but I pulled out 4 booklets. I do have quite a few models of these designs, so that's going to be fun to show you. I have them worked in many different ways and finished in many different ways. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Snowflake, which you saw earlier today in one of our viewers had done, and she had it in a little display. So this, I can't remember who did this finishing, but it is absolutely stunning. I'm sorry to say that this company that made this little box is no longer in business, but I know that you can find little paper mache boxes at Hobby Lobby, and you could paint those, and she made it into just this beautiful pin cushion. And I used just another Button Company pins in this little design. She put not only twisted cording around here, but if you look right here, you can also see a beautiful pom-pom trim right below that. I just thought the finishing was gorgeous. So that was one of the Snowflake. Let me show you. I've shown you the booklet earlier. This is what the design looks like in the booklet. And then my finisher also finished it in another manner. So the snowflake that is on the pin cushion was worked over 1 on a 28 count. This design was worked over 2, and let me look that up, on a 32 count linen. And let's see, it's the color of the linen is blue spruce, and that's made by, it's a Belfast, so it's a Zweigart. But I just thought that looked so sweet as a little stand-up with the white pom-pom trim around the edges. Actually, I think the design, the white on a blue background, really shows up so well. So that's one winter design to show you. Here's another one, and again, I have several models of this. So this one that I'm going to show you, I'll show you the model first, and then we'll show the book. So this is called Winter in the Round, and I used to be able to get these little wooden boxes at Hobby Lobby. I don't know, see, this is kind of caught a little bit, if it's still available or not. What I loved about it is they were just natural, and I spray painted them. Then I would put a little pretty fabric in the base. On the inside of the design, I always took one little element and stitched that for a little surprise on the inside of the box. Let's see if I can get this together here. And then this is what this design looks like. So let me look it up for you. Winter in the Round. It was stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen that's called Blue Whisper. So this is the over 2 model. And let's see, let me see if I can find, let's see if I could find the color I used. I used a classic Colorworks fiber called Deep Blue Sea for this one. And this was just, I just finished this with a little bit of cording and a little bow at the base. So that's one of the Winter in the Round designs. And then of course I have to do it over 1. Only at Christmas time, I think, are you able to find the wooden snowflakes at Hobby Lobby, but they just make a really cute background for a winter design. And this is the same design, Winter in the Round, worked over 1 on a 28 count fabric. And let's see if I can tell you, I think, okay, the Deep Sea was worked for the over 2 model, and it looks like a DMC 3897 was worked for the round design over 1. So again, this is what that model looks like. What I like about this is you can set it on a table, so it works really nicely for display. All right, the next models that I want to show you are from, I've got a number of these. So some of these came from my ornament booklets. Some of them are actually in a booklet that's fairly old, and this is called a winter collection. This was published in 2011, so 15 years ago. I still have them in print, and if I run out, I will reprint because I still love all 3 designs. So this has snow hats in it. It has that little snowman that I showed you earlier that is in one of the Christmas ornament booklets, and it also has an ice skate. So let me show you the models. Here's the little ice skate, and it makes a darling ornament, but it would be really cute in a winter display. Again, if you wanted to do blue and white, you could work it in blue. It would really look sweet, or white on blue would look nice. Here's one of the little snow hats worked as an ornament, but again, you could work them in a row like I showed you in the booklet. And here is the little snowman that I showed you earlier that is also in that booklet. So there are really 3 designs in a winter collection: the snow hats, the snowman, and the little ice skate. And I also worked that snowman over 2, and he was finished as she was finished as a flat piece with a big pom-pom trim. And I love that because it reminds me of making snowballs. And this has on the back, it has a tiny little plastic hook so that you could hang it on a wall, or you could put a ribbon through it and hang it on a knob of a door. So you see how different they look, worked over 2 and then worked over 1. So that is that part. And then this is the last one I have to show you. Oh wait, where did this come from? Oh dear, sometimes my brain shuts down and I think, what booklet did this appear in? I'm going to have to research this and tell you next time, because I pulled this out to show it to you, and it is different, I believe. Yes, it is. So the first snowman that I showed you actually has little Christmas motifs in the body of the piece, but this one has the alphabet. So, all right, note to self, find source of this design, because I truly do not remember. I hope it's in one of the ornament booklets. So, all right, I'm writing notes to myself, but doesn't it look sweet? I just finished it as a little pillow with red buttons. All right, now the next design that I have to show you, I have 2 models of it. And this is the French Country Snowman. And this too came out a while ago. Let's look at the date. Came out in 2015. The first model that I'm going to show to you, this is what the booklet looks like. And it says, "In the meadow, we can build a snowman." I love that phrase from the song. And this was actually worked on a polka dot fabric from Zweigart. No, I'm sorry, it was from Fabric Flair. I am not, and actually the polka dots have faded a bit. I am not sure if this is still, the polka dot fabric is still available. I know Zweigart has a polka dot fabric, and I think I heard they were discontinuing that, but it is a darling fabric for a background on winter designs. So this is worked over 2, and the fabric was a 32 count. And let me look up. Let's look and see what color I worked this in. I worked this in Betty Bluebell, which is a gorgeous blue from Classic Colorworks, and finished it as a pillow with just a little trim around all the edges. And then the second model I have of this one is stitched over 1. And again, this was mounted on a box from Lone Elm, which is no longer in business. You can see what a beautiful shaker box it was. But again, you can buy wonderful paper mache boxes, probably at Michael's and at Hobby Lobby. And I've used them often on some of my round designs because they just seem to coordinate well. And this was just mounted on the lid of the box with a little pom-pom trim around the edges. So that concludes my winter collection. All right, let's show you my prize. Not my prize, I'm sorry, that's the next topic. Let me show you what I've released. Let me look at my notes and double check if I'm on track here. I am releasing a very tiny patriotic design in Nashville. And the only reason that I am showing it to you, I'm so happy that I can, I wrote and got permission today, is that I am not going to be in Nashville this year. And it doesn't mean that I've stopped designing, it's just that I will not have a room of my own to exhibit in. I do have someone who is going to exhibit my designs, which is wonderful. And so when Yarn Tree found out that I was not going to be there in person, Yarn Tree, incidentally, is a distributor that distributes from hundreds of designers, and they distribute fabric and fibers and all kinds of accoutrements. So they're a wonderful distributor out of Iowa. So they asked me if I would do an exclusive design that they will distribute in Nashville for me and sell. And so I have a funny story to tell you about this. So I designed the piece. It's a patriotic round, and it was so much fun to design. I don't even have the booklet yet. The booklet hasn't been published yet. The booklet is written, but we just haven't gotten to that step. And they wanted a picture of the design. And I said, well, it isn't finished yet. It's stitched. It's just flat. And I don't know about you, but designs just flat don't look as interesting as designs that are just finished beautifully. But they needed that picture right away for their magazine that they publish and for publicity. So the picture that they're using is just the flat design, no finishing at all. But wait till you see the finishes on this. I just love it. So this was finished by Karen, and she does such beautiful work. I love the ribbon she added down here at the base with a little tiny pin. It's called a Patriotic Round 1776, and every motif in this design is, in my mind, related to the founding of our country. So there are 13 stars to represent the 13 states. There are flags and bugles and the Liberty Bell and ships and horses and a teapot and bunting and glasses. I think about Benjamin Franklin, and an anchor. It says USA 1776, a candle. It was so much fun to put together. So this is the design worked over to, I think I worked it, I'd have to look at my notes, on a 36 count fabric. So it measures about 4 inches across. And then I also did it in blue, and I love this one too. This is worked on a 28 count fabric over 1. And again, Karen finished this for me. Love everything she added. She put a little star up here at the top. I thought this was so clever. She did, instead of just one scalloped board, she mounted them on 2 scalloped boards, and then there's a little pearl pin at the bottom. So I hope you like those. Now, how can you get it if you like the pattern? The best way, many of your shops probably don't even know what you're talking about. That's okay. You just say it's coming out. It'll be in Nashville. They have to order the pattern through Yarn Tree, not through me directly. I will be able to sell the pattern and the design directly in April, directly to the shops. But in the meantime, if you're wanting this right after Nashville, you can ask your shop to place an order for this design through Yarn Tree, and they'll know exactly who that is. So I'll be anxious to hear your feedback on that. I hope you're as excited about it as I am, and I'm excited to share it to you, because my other new designs I probably won't be able to share probably for another 5 weeks or so. So now, this is the next fun part. I want to give away gifts to honor all of you who are subscribers. So I have, again, 10 gifts to give away, and I'll show you the gifts when you write a comment to me. And if you can't do comments as you watch the video, you can always send me an email and I will include those in my list so that I have 10 designs for you. The first one is Eliza's French Birds. And I wish I could show you. Someone on Instagram, and I couldn't get a good picture of it, I should have just photographed it, posted the most beautiful picture of this, and her mounting was so unique. Instead of stretching it, she actually fringed the edges of the design and put it in a frame on a pretty fabric background. So I'll try to find that to show you next time. So that's prize number 1. Prize number 2 is a kit that came out last year, which is called Sweet Springtime Songbird. It includes everything you need to finish it, the disc and the ribbons, etc., and the floss for the cording. And this kit actually is still available, so if you don't win it and you want it, just write to me. This is prize number 3, and it is the French Baby Samplers. This came out a year ago. It's a collection of 8 different samplers, all featuring baby themes, which would make great baby gifts. Prize number 4 is another booklet that came out last year, and it's called My Heart to You is Given. It's a collection of, I think there are, let's see if I can tell you how many. I think there are 6 or 8 designs in here too. And it's just kind of a wonderful collection of heart designs that would be perfect for Valentine's Day. So that's prize number 4. Prize number 5 is When Cardinals Appear, which I just talked about earlier today. Prize number 6 is also what I talked about today, the collection of Petite samplers. I hope you're taking notes and I'm not going too fast. I should have said take notes when I started. The Bluebird of Happiness, which has been very, very popular for the last couple years. It says, may the Bluebird of Happiness always reside within you. And this is prize number 7. Now, the last 3 prizes are very unusual because they are booklets. One is a magazine, actually, that was published by Leisure Arts. 2 are little booklets that I published. I have to look at the date on this. So how is my math? It was a long time ago, like 17 years ago. And this was a book called A Few Favorites. And I'll show you what the back of it looks like. Most of these are out of print, actually. It has the Reindeer Parade, To the Sea, Christmas Welcome, A Star is Born, Ready, Set, Go, and To the Beach. And these are all designs that are out of print, and I don't have many of these left. So A Few Favorites is prize number 8. My next interesting collection is called an Anniversary Collection. This is prize number 9, and I actually have forgotten. That's terrible, isn't it? What's in here? All right, let me look. So this is how long ago. I was a lot younger then. This is in this booklet is Deck the Hall, Sweet Dreams, Noel, A Wedding Announcement with Love and Affection, and Smiling Jack-o'-lanterns. So those are all booklets that are out of print. That's number 9. And then the last booklet that again is no longer being published was called Sweet Nothings for, I'm sorry about the glare, Sweet Nothings for Baby. And Leisure Arts sold these for quite a few years. I've forgotten the publication date on this one too. It's been a while. They did such a beautiful job with the photography on this. You can see from each page just how lovely it is. And once again, these are all baby designs. So this is prize number 10. So I'm just having so much fun giving away good things to you because I'm so grateful for you all. So we're almost done. Hopefully I can finish up before you're yawning. My life update is that we were able to see our family several times over the holidays, which I feel very lucky about. We had the funniest time with our granddaughter last Saturday night. Some of the grandchildren and kids came over to help us take down the tree. And somehow, oh, I know, I'll have to tell you this quick story. My grandson Wyatt's wife, Kylie, came to me, and she's a graphic artist, but she doesn't cross-stitch, which is fine. She doesn't have time, really. Anyhow, she said to me, I would love to have a cross-stitch design made for one of my friends. And she said, I want it to be the baby's name. And the baby's name is, I've charted it too, Clarissa. And so I said, I can do that for you. So I charted the baby's name and a border, and I found someone who's going to stitch it for me because I'm kind of out of time. But I wanted her to come up to my office because we needed to pick out a border for the design, and I wanted her to choose the colors that she wanted this stitched in for her friend. So all the girls in the family came up. My daughter-in-law, not all of them, but most of them that were here. My daughter-in-law, my two granddaughters, Ellie and Ashton, my great-granddaughter, Vea, and myself and Kylie. And, Vea is only 2 years old, and she was so funny that day. So I have two tiny little chairs in this office, this stool right here, and another stool, and lots of pillows, as you know. And she spent probably an hour moving every chair and every stool to a different place in my studio. And she'd set them all up, and then the pillow would fall off, and she'd get it back, and she'd put it on the chair, and she'd go, nice. It was so cute. And she moved them, as I say, all over the place. She never sat on them. She just liked carrying them and moving them. So we just all got such a kick out of that story. And part of the time she's singing too. Jesus loves me, and what else? We were singing along with her. It was so much fun. So I have one other thing to tell you about. This is something. So I've been kind of thinking about what do I want to do in next year, that's a little different. So this is an idea that I have come up with, and I need your input to see what you think. As I say, I've thinking about this for a long time. I would like to, and this is going to be very limited, start inviting some of my stitchers who watch my video, who live, not too far away. I'm in Southwest Michigan, Kalamazoo. I'd like to set aside one day a month and have 4 or 5 people come over and spend 4 or 5 hours in my studio. And I would get lunch for us all, and we'd get to know one another, and we'd talk and we'd stitch. So I haven't figured out quite yet how I'm going to do this. That's tricky. I'll have to figure out, maybe I don't know. I'll have to have some kind of a numbering system or something to make it fair, make it random. But anyhow, I think it could be so much fun. I've just thought about, I'm up here all the time. I have all these chairs. Why don't I get to meet some of you in person? So let me know what you think. I'd be real interested in your feedback. So last topic for today is how to contact me. As always, judy@jbwdesigns.com. My Instagram account is judy.whitman. I also have a Friends of JBW Designs Facebook page, and it's very easy to join it. You just have to join and answer 1 or 2 questions. And that's where a lot of people are posting their finishes. And the good news is that my website is finally being worked on diligently. So keep your fingers crossed. Maybe in the next month we'll have a website to announce. I sure hope so. It's taken a long time. So thank you again for watching. I just so appreciate you all, and I hope to be back sooner than a month. So take care. Happy stitching. Bye-bye.